Today is Monday, December 9th. I'm back at Riverbend Park near Jupiter, where I was a week ago today. And once again, I'm planning to head back to that lake at the end of that maze of sloughs and try and catch some largemouth bass. Conditions a little different today. Bright sun, warm, pretty good breeze already. I don't know how that'll affect fly fishing later. I'm going to start out trying to throw some small flies like I was using last week and catching bass. Took me a while to figure out that was what I needed to do. I'll start out early with that and see if it helps. Well, I managed to find my way back here to Cowpen Lake without a detour caused by wrong turns. Maybe in the future I'll be able to get back here more quickly than I have been previously. This time it only took me about 40 minutes from where I put in at the boat launch. The key is making two quick left turns following the first culvert that you go through. Now that I know that, maybe in future I can remember and get back here efficiently. Alright, I can see we've got a bit of a breeze. It's coming from the southeast, which is where I'm facing right now. I'm going to pull up to that shoreline straight ahead. It's a little bit of protection from the wind, lee as it's called, and I'm going to try and fly cast a little popper, actually a little deer hair popper along that shoreline. Action around here doesn't seem to pick up until after lunch. We'll see. I've seen quite a bit of wildlife active already this morning. Lots of turtles sliding off logs as I approached, birds and dragonflies. So maybe the warm weather is going to perk up all the wildlife, including the fish. We will see in a moment. Back here in this quiet cove off the main lake. No wind to speak of, so I'm able to cast pretty well, but it's clear at this point that topwater's not going to work. Nearly caught a tiny little fish a few minutes ago. I saw him go after the fly, but I ripped it out of his mouth, which was not too smart, but that was the only action. I just don't think the fish are ready to hit on top yet. I'm not seeing any splashes or any swirls or anything like that. So to get some action, I'm going to switch over to spinning gear for the time being, and maybe I'll catch a few on that and then go back to the fly rod later in the afternoon. Well, that didn't take long. About 2 casts. This is a pretty decent sized bass too. I can get him up out of the water here. He's already jumped once. He's coming under the boat. Where are you, fishy? Where are you? Come on up out of the water. Let's take a look at you. There he is. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, not bad at all. Pretty nice fish there. Maybe 15 inches, 16 inches, something like that. Alright, and he's not even hooked hardly at all. Let me get that hook off him and get him back in the water. It's been a little while, but here's finally bass number 2. Also on one of those rubber fluke worms. Out here in the main lake, it's kind of breezy. It's going to be a problem probably all afternoon trying to maneuver the boat and fly cast. A lot easier just with spinning equipment, but I will try the fly casting rig in a few minutes. But I'm glad to know that these other guys are starting to hit. It's a little smaller than the previous one, but not a bad size, maybe 13, 14 inches, something like that. Alright, looks like he's half swallowed the hook. Let me see if I can get it out of his mouth. About 1:30 in the afternoon. Switched back to the fly rod for the time being. We'll see what happens. I'm using a small white popper for a while. Nothing was happening on that, so now I'm putting on this little brown foam popper. I'm on the I guess it's the southeast side of the lake, and I'm getting a little bit of break from the wind over here. The wind is pretty much coming straight up from the south. I'm not trying to make very long casts, but I believe the bass are going to be found back in these back among this grass that's protruding from the water. I caught some last week in these areas, so I'll be throwing my fly back into there and see if we can get some bass to come to the surface and hit it. I've pretty much given up on surface flies. Haven't had a hit in a couple hours. Tried pretty hard, and the fish are just not interested today, so I'm going to stay with the fly rod for the time being, but try this streamer fly. I don't know what it's called, but I bought it this summer in North Carolina, specifically to use down here for bass and maybe salt water. I'm hoping it'll look like a small bait fish to these bass, but I'm going to try this for a while and see if I can do any good on it. Haven't seen many gators at all in the last few weeks since we've been down here. Weather's been kind of cool. It tends to keep them indoors, but I know they're back here. And this guy came out to warm himself in the sun. Let me see if I can get a little closer view of him. He's right there out towards the end of that island. Yeah, I think you can get a pretty good view of him now. He's just warming up in the sun. Looking towards me. Okay, let's get out of here now. I don't like the way he's coming this way. So let's move out of the way. Well, that alligator never did get me. He didn't appreciate me disturbing his nap, but he went and swam off someplace. I haven't seen him since. Had to give up on the fly rod for a while. It wasn't doing anything, and went back to the worm, and of course within 2 or 3 casts, here we go again. Pretty nice bass. Now let me get him off the hook before that alligator comes up and finds him. Well, I knew I had something big and heavy on the line. What I didn't realize was that I'd caught a turtle by the butt. He's really... Let me see if I can get him up out of the water here. I don't know what kind of turtle he is, but certainly doesn't need to have that hook hanging off of him. Yeah, I don't know if it's a snapping turtle or not. I'm going to try and keep my hands away from him. Let me get the pliers and get this hook out of him. It's about 5 to 4, and I'm going to call it a day. Caught one more bass, a little smaller than the others, again on spinning tackle a few minutes ago. So that meant I caught 4 for the day. It's a little slow, not as good as last week. Conditions were different. It was sunny all day, virtually no clouds at all, and quite a bit breezier. A little disappointing that I didn't catch anything on the fly rod, but that's the way it goes. Sometimes only the rubber worm will work, and that was the case today. So I'm going to head back and go on home. That's it for today.